What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. This is Lone Wolf, and in this video we're going to talk about the best corruptions for marksmanship hunters. Alright, now take this as a general guideline, as the best results always come from simming your character. Alright, so with that being said, let's get into it. What's up, everyone? So Blizzard finally implemented the corruption vendor, all right, which is a godsend. The RNG on top of RNG, I mean, it's not too fun. I mean, obviously, if you get what you want, yeah, but the chances for that to happen was very, very tiny. So now being able to both get your best in slot gear and get your best in slot corruptions, beautiful thing, beautiful thing. With that being said, marksmanship hunters are going to want the same corruptions. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're doing PvE, and it doesn't matter if you're doing PvP. You're going to share the most important ones across the board. One thing I want to mention is marksmanship hunters are somewhat unique in that you want a balance of stats. Okay, so if you have way too much haste, then you have no impact. If you have way too much mastery, then you can't cast your spells. And if you have too much versatility, then you can't cast, and you don't have much impact, but you're survive. Maybe your trinkets are gonna help out, and your essence or whatever, but at the end of the day, your main abilities is what matters the most. All marksmanship hunters are going to want the same corruptions, all right? Now, the only difference might be that one corruption might be valued higher than another, depending on what build and what stats you have. But generally speaking, these are the most important corruptions to look out for and save up for. Expedient 3, all right? Haste from all sources increased by 12%. Why is that awesome? Your auto attack is increased. Your whispered truths lets your cooldowns recharge faster. There's just a good amount of synergy going on with that. Your abilities are casted faster, and you're able to get your cooldowns slightly on a faster note, all right? Next in the line is Whispered Truths. Whispered Truths is a corruption you get from a bow that drops from Prophet Skeetra on Nyalotha. It's a relatively easy weapon to get, being that the boss that it drops from is, it could be the second boss, it could be the third boss. You know, most pugs have it as the third boss. So if you're trying to go into a heroic or a mythic, save that token for that bow. After that, it'll be Masterful 3 and then Versa 3. Obviously, if you feel like you're taking too much damage in PvP, you wanna go more versatility. But Masterful increases your damage much more than versatility does. Granted, versatility also helps with trinket procs, essences, and random procs that are out there, but the majority of all your damage comes from aim shot and rapid fire. All right, so keep that in mind. After that, you can go Ineffable Truth, but in PvE, I don't really think that's too important. But what I like about Ineffable Truth is it has a low corruption budget value, so you can just sneak it in your gear without much problem. And I'm talking about rank 1, not the second rank. It supplements Whispered Truths, okay? It just supplements it, it helps it out. So it gives you a lot more bang for the buck. Now, outliers for me are Gushing Wound and Infinite Stars. Okay, Infinite Stars and Gushing Wound definitely sim high in DPS for corruptions, but what I don't like about them is that they're very, very random. They're procs. You don't have any control in them. And yes, while in some situations when they do proc, you get a lot of value for them, there will be more situations where you're not gonna get value from them, like a lot more. So being that is the case, I don't want to put Infinite Stars or Gushing Wound in there. The good thing about Gushing Wounds, it doesn't have that much of a cost when it comes to corruption value, but it takes away from your own gameplay improvements. So let's look into the PvE side of things for Marksmanship Hunters. One thing I found out was that the PvE side is a lot more simple to handle than it is the PvP side of things. Reason being, in PvE, there's only one true build to pump out the most damage, all right? So the real question here becomes, which corruption is best to use? How much corruption resistance do I have? What can I fit in, all right? That is the biggest question. Reason for that is, I'm gonna give you an example. Infinite Stars cost 75 corruption to equip, okay? And it also sims the highest, all right? Meanwhile, Expedient 3 is not as high, but it's close to Infinite Stars, but it costs 20. If you get 2 stacks of Expedient 3, it still costs less, and you will be doing 1.5 times plus the damage than with 1 Infinite Stars. Not only will you be able to do more damage with 2 stacks, but your abilities will be casted faster. Hence why I bring this, why is this question so important, okay? With that being said, I'm gonna name you guys the top 5 simming corruptions, and then what you should actually go for, if that makes sense, all right? Because these 5 are simming the highest, but I don't necessarily think that they are the best corruptions to equip. So number 1 is Infinite Stars, rank 3. Number 2 is Gushing Wounds. Number 3 is Whispered Truth. Number 4 is Expedient 3. And number 5 is Ineffable Truth. Okay? Right off the bat, I can see that Infinite Stars is going to be really tough to get in there. Alright? But for a couple of reasons. 1 is RNG based. 2, it causes hella corruption. And 3, it hinders my play style. So I'm just hoping for this Infinite Stars proc so I can see huge numbers in my damage meter. Alright? And it does help. Infinite Stars does help, but the corruption value, or the how much it costs, is the problem. So if you can fit different corruptions and then fit an Infinite Stars, then Gucci, that's awesome. I do recommend it. But if you cannot fit an Infinite Stars, don't worry about it. Go with Expedient 3, go with a Masterful. You can try your Ineffable Truth. Definitely always have Whispered Truth. It's awesome. And lastly, for AoE in PvE, Expedient rank 3 is straight up king. Alright? Other than that, you can concentrate on a little bit more mastery. While Twilight Devastation does sim high for AoE, it is a very awkward spell for marksmanship. Alright? Being that our range is so vast, Twilight Devastation only goes like 20 yards in front of you, or 30 yards in front of you. Something like that. So There will be times where it just procs and you're not gonna hit anything and you're assed out. So if maybe in Mythic Plus it works out a little bit more because you gotta be a little tighter, I don't recommend it. I would just go full raw stats like haste, mastery, procs of haste and mastery, and things of that nature. For PvP is slightly different in that there are two builds that really shine. One build is primarily focused on rapid fire. So all your traits, all your talents, everything is focused on making your rapid fire super powerful. And in that build, you would want to focus more so on mastery versatility and proc corruptions, proc essences, and enchants, because if you're gonna let out a double tap rapid fire, might as well have that rapid fire also include procs and all that stuff. The second build is primarily focused on haste and fast casts. Okay, so in the rhythm traits and things of that nature. In this build, you definitely want to focus on Expedient 3. You want to have even Gale Force striking if you want to have an increased casting speed, and also have a mastery and a versa in there just to balance out your stats. But everything is focused on haste. All right. Again, in PvP, corruptions really help with your stats. You can go for some twisted appendages for your single target. Maybe ineffable truths in there if you can get a couple stacks. But you definitely want to have some increasing your stats, because like we said before, most of your damage comes from your shots. As an example, rogues, they can use the twisted appendages because they have access to stuns, they have access to stop a player from killing that mind flay. For marksmanship hunters, it's not like that. We can kite, we can CC, we can slow down, we can peel. But everything is about your abilities. You're not necessarily bringing your CDs back up much faster, because everything has diminishing returns, but more so on I want to do damage right now. So the best corruptions in PvP is definitely going to be Expedient 3 by far. I want to say Infinite Stars, but with two characters out against two players, is all about luck at that point. All right, because if one star hits, they have that 25 bonus damage to the next one. But if that Infinite Star hits a different target, then what's the point? You just want that to hit the kill target. So while Infinite Stars may be fun to see, just random people getting one-shotted or whatever may have you, if you want complete control, definitely focus on your stats. Expedient 3, definitely. A Masterful, definitely. You want to have your mastery above 20%. Once you're at that 465, 470 plus item level, you want to have your mastery above 20%. You want to have your versatility above around 17%. You can go between 14 to 20% versatility depending on how much damage you're taking, how do you feel, you know what I'm saying? And with haste, you want to be between 15 to 20%, and with these, and that's without any other traits. Any other corruptions. Okay, don't worry about crit in PvP. You crit good enough, but your abilities just hit so damn hard on their own without having crit that it's don't worry about putting anything in crit. Depending how much versatility you have, you want to get a versatility one of the the versatile rank 3 or the masterful rank 3. Just have your stats nice and beefy, and then once you can fit that, then you can go for gushing wounds, go for ineffable truth. One interesting corruption is the leech one. It gives you 8% leech. I think that is pretty powerful considering how hard our abilities hit, but it just sucks that that's all it brings. It's just the 8% leech at such a high corruption cost. Depending on how much mastery you have, you and having already a masterful rank 3, it's not a bad idea to get at least one home mind on there. So interesting PvP corruptions that you want to keep your eye out on is Twisted Appendages, Whispered Truth, Masterful 3, and Gushing Wounds. Gushing Wounds because of how low it costs, and it's a bleed. Like, it does a good amount of damage. I don't think one Gushing Wounds is enough. I feel like once you want to going into the Gushing Wounds part of things, like, I feel like you need to have more than one stack to have it really outshine. But since it's a low cost, if you have enough resistance to have one on, then by all means just do it. Okay, if you learned anything from this video, give this a like, and if you want to keep on getting Marksmanship Hunter content, please subscribe. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.